you want to know, come closer. Divine inspiration. Yes, divine inspiration. But really, when I started working with my my book coach, I already had like lots of ideas of what I wanted to write about: emotional healing, about breakup, about heartbreak, about love. I didn't write about a whole lot of things, but it was that same period that I was already talking with my university tutor for my master's in social work, and I was planning to publish my dissertation as an article because it's very, very relevant and key to social work education in the UK. And then as I was just going back and forth with my good coach on deciding what I wanted to write in the book, the Holy Spirit said to me, that thing that you've been wanting to do in article, write it as a book. And yes, he said, say everything you need to say, no word limit, no limitation, no boundaries, go all the way out. Like, oh, so this was actually a book and not an article. And I told my book coach about the idea, and she was sold on it. And we're like, oh, and then the next thing was, okay, how do we name this body of work? Exactly. And that became another order to cross, another roller coaster. But I prayed, and different inspirations came. But then it got to the point where I had to say, like, okay, what story am I trying to tell? And since this book is about finding the balance between souls and systems, between institutions and individual, the institution versus the individual, it became necessary to give it a name that indicates what the embodiment of the whole story, and then the word finding the equilibrium. Initially, it looked like it was so bookish and too academic, but it had to be the title. Because how equilibrium was birthed. Well, like I said, finding the name for this complex body of work was something else, was crazy, but yeah, we were able to subdue the mountain. And honestly, it wasn't hard writing the book, because when I, reflecting on the journey, the book had been 20 years in the making, and here is what I mean. God was already, putting the pieces of the puzzle together. I just didn't know. I just needed to get to the point where I was ready to write a book, and then align, and then hear God, and then know that, and then begin to now say, okay, which pieces of my story are actually for this book? And then here we are today. But I will tell you for free, the hardest part to write was the last chapter, the final chapter. Oh my God. When you read it, you would know why it was hard to write. It is most creative, most, like my coach said, I want to squeeze the oil out of you. Like, no, it took me weeks to be able to write the concluding chapter, because the book is going to take you on a journey, and the ending is massive. Last chapter was the chandelier on the grand oil of souls and systems,